y'all, and welcome to Fig and Thistle Books. I'm Amanda, and I'm here to talk about my 2018 Virago Reading Challenge. So thanks for joining me. I'm filming in a different place. I'm filming at the dining room table because my desk, my little cozy area with all my candles and good lighting and everything, has been covered up with Christmas presents and wrapping paper and random toys, and my house is a wreck. So I picked the clearest area I could. Everyone's in bed. I'm like, I'm gonna film this. So next week I will be talking about reading challenges or reading goals for 2018. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about some issues I've had with reading the past couple years, some trends, some things I've noticed, and I've been doing a little journaling to kind of work through my thoughts on that. But I wanted to post about some reading challenges, not reading goals, but reading challenges I want to do in the upcoming year, in case any of you would like to join in or you want to add to your TBRs before the beginning of the year. And so I thought I would go ahead while I had the chance and while I was motivated and film this video. So Virago Press is out of England, and it was started in the 70s, and they tend to publish feminist books, more nonfiction now, but a lot of fiction back in the day when they got started. And one of my favorite authors, Angela Carter, was very instrumental in helping that press get started, and they published her novels, and so that's how I first found out about Virago. And then I picked up a book at a charity shop, a used bookstore, and it was a Vita Sackville West novel, and I can never find those just on shelves. That's something I always have to order. And so then I began my hunt in looking for these Virago Modern Classics. It's still a press that's growing strong. They publish Sarah Waters. Love her. So, but they have these, what we who enjoy collecting these little Virago Modern Classics called the green spines. There they are, the green spines. And I picked out the most worn out one to show you. So these are the ones that when I see them at like the Goodwill or a used bookstore or for sale online, I snatch them up. And I even have friends now who, when they find them, they send them to me. Thanks, friends. Now, all of these books I have today are not necessarily the green spines. I kind of, I have the title list, and I kind of, as I find the books, I snap them up. So basically, this challenge is not really something new. In 2015, I decided I wanted to read the first 100 published Virago Modern Classics. And I set about doing that. I wrote down the list of the first 100. Those were the ones I focused on trying to find. And I read 11 of them. And it was the beginning of kind of a slumpy period for me. So I wasn't really, I was trying to do them all in order. And I was trying to one every month. We're going to do one every month. And I got myself all not motivated. But I'm back. I love the Viragos. I've read them for years. I'm ready to get back to working on this list. So, with all that, I looked at my list at the 11 I've read, and then the other books on the list, and then I checked my shelves. And so all of these that I have, I already own. I'm going to try to focus on reading these this year. I picked 12. We'll see if I read all 12. I might not. But do know that if I stumble across any of them in a Goodwill or something, I'm going to buy them, and this list may change. So I thought very quickly, not very quickly, quicker than before. See, I filmed this the first time, and it was 25 minutes of me reading blurbs, and I was like, well, that's not cool. Nobody's going to watch 25 minutes of me reading blurbs. Let me chop this down a bit. So this is me chopping it down because it's easier than me trying to edit because I'm lazy. Anywho, Virago Modern Classics. So these are the 12 that I've chosen for 2018. If you have any others that you want to recommend, if you collect these, let me know. We'll be best friends. It'll be awesome. If you've read any of these titles, your thoughts and opinions, let me know. I want to know all the stuff. All right. So first on the list is Diana of the Crossways. This one is kind of set in a very fashionable political and literary world of mid-Victorian England. A spirited woman who is not taking any crap from her husband, who is trying to control her. And she wants to have a career. She's ambitious. She loves a politician. And it says all of this brings down upon her the full fury of her peers. So that sounds interesting. It sounds, when I was reading the back blurb in a couple pages, it kind of reminds me of Mill and the Floss, like shades of Maggie Tulver, and kind of that sort of impetuous, strong-headed, doing her own thing, and how that kind of doesn't work out so well in Victorian England. But I'm interested to see how this strong personality works out. So excited about that. Next we have The Sugar House by Antonia White, and this is part of a series that starts with The Frost in May, which is the first book that Virago Modern Classics published, and it's the story of a girl who goes to Catholic boarding school, and things don't go well for her, and she kind of has a spiritual reckoning. Her father's a jerk, and so this is the third book in this series. For some reason, the author changes the heroine protagonist's name in the second book, but it's the same story. It's just the name change. So this one is about she had a crap time in the frost in May, and the lost traveler. There was some stuff that happened then that was kind of not good for our heroine here, Clara. So she is married. She's 22. She's married. She's married to this guy named Archie, and he's kind of like not exciting, kind of boring, kind of dull. It says here that his sexuality is still unresolved. We'll have to see what that means. And she's had some heartache, and she's just trying to figure out who she is and what she's doing at 22, married to this guy. And on the back it says that Elizabeth Bowen really liked this book, and Elizabeth Bowen is one of my most favorite authors, so I'll be excited to read that. Next we have The Return of the Soldier by Rebecca West. A few years ago, and by a few I mean like 10, I went through a huge Rebecca West binge. I read a bunch of her stuff. I really like her. This is one of the first ones I read. I don't remember a lot about the plot. I do know that it's about a soldier who returns from the Great War, and he has shell shock. And there are 3 women in his life. His wife that he doesn't remember at all, a childhood playmate, and his first love, who's now like a matronly, kind of unexciting woman. But he's not with us completely, and I don't remember much about the plot, except I remember reading this book and just weeping, because the way shell shock, or as we would call it now, PTSD, is written was so tragic and illuminating and heartbreaking. And so I'm excited to go back and revisit this and take better notes. So next we have one that I've been really excited to read, is The Three Sisters by May Sinclair. And I was really excited to read it because who's this? Yeah, these are the Brontes, correct? So I was like, oh my God, a novelization about the Brontes. This is not a novelization of the life of the Brontes. So I actually saw a review that clued me into that, and the person who reviewed it, I can't remember who it was. They said they were disappointed because they were going in there thinking they were going to see Charlotte, Emily, and Anne, and it wasn't quite. So going into that, I think I'll really enjoy this. It's still a moor on the Yorkshire village. There are 3 sisters, Mary, Gwendolyn, and Alice, and they want to get out of their home. They each kind of have different dreams, and then an eligible doctor shows up, and things go crazy. So I think this is going to be good. I'm looking forward to this. So that's a good one. Not about the Brontes, but I'm hoping it'll still be great. Next we have F. in Mayor the Third, Miss Symons, and this one is about a spinster who, it's a daughter in a large Victorian family. We know how much I love my Victorians. She's grumpy. Her life seems meaningless, but she has one saving grace. She knows what she is. She has self-knowledge. And so this looks kind of like a coming-of-age story, but almost of like an adult spinster, and where she stands in life and how she interacts with people. So this one, I have a feeling that I'm either going to really like it or I'm just not going to dig it. Because when I read novels about determined spinsters, I want them all to be Lolly Willowes by Sylvia Townsend Warner. And if you haven't read that book, I suggest you stop whatever you're doing. Don't watch the rest of this video and go and get Lolly Willowes because it's superb. And so whenever there's a grumpy spinster, I'm like, well, I want you to be Lolly Willowes. I want you to be Lolly Willowes. And this won't be. But it might still be really great. Next, we have The Lacquer Lady by F. Tennyson Jessie, who is the great niece of Alfred Lord Tennyson. And let's see here, it looks like it's published in 1929. It says it's in the same vein as Kipling and Stevenson. It's set during the last years of the Kingdom of Burma. And what drew me most to this was that one critic observed that Fanny Maroney, who's our heroine here, was a character good enough to take tea with Becky Sharp. And Vanity Fair was not my favorite classic, but I did enjoy Becky Sharp quite a bit. So I'm anxious to see how this works out. This will be really good. Yeah, I think this is going to be good. So, all right, and next we have The Tortoise and the Hare by Elizabeth Jenkins. And this one looks really great. I mean, it's introduced by Hilary Mantel. Hilary, I'm going to need you to finish that Third Wolf Hall book because I'm waiting. And I will just have to make do with rereading your other works and reading this introduction, but I would really like the last volume of the Wolf Hall trilogy. Thank you. All right, side note. Okay, so this is a beautiful woman named Imogen who's married to a distinguished barrister, and then there's a neighbor who shows up who's the opposite of Imogen, but seems to be trying to get her husband's attention and maybe succeeding. So this looks like it's going to be a great kind of character-driven novel. So I'm thinking that's going to be good. Next, we have The Odd Women by George Gissing. And this is about 5 odd women without husbands, and a powerful novel set in Victorian London. And from what I've read about this book, this has been on my TBR for ages, is that these 5 women are very bold and headstrong and independent, even by today's standards. And so I'm excited about reading that. So yeah, this is going to be good. Oh, some of the women are training young women to use skills so they can support themselves. They want to help free both sexes from whatever distorts or depletes their humanity, including, if necessary, marriage. So this sounds like it's going to be a novel that is very progressive for its time. And, oh, I'm interested in reading that. It's written by a man. Interesting. All right, next we have The Vet's Daughter. I'm so excited for this one because it sounds really weird. Very shades of Angela Carter, which is exciting. Set in Edwardian South London, sordid and oppressive. Okay, check, I'm sold. She's the daughter of a veterinarian, a bitter and brutal man. He has fits of rage. She finds out she has some like occult powers, which she doesn't hide. And then there are strange events that unfold, which lead her triumphantly dressed as a bride in her moment of final ecstasy. And it says The Vet's Daughter is a dark jewel of a novel, at once fascinating, terrifying, and poignant. This is going to be weird and wacky and great, and reminds me of Angela Carter very much. In fact, let's pull out an Angela Carter. The Magic Toy Shop. This is kind of cheating a bit because I've read The Magic Toy Shop at least 3 times. I think the last time I read it was 2006, 2007 because it was before I started dating my husband. No, it was longer. Oh my God, no, it was 10 years ago. It was like 2007. Yeah, I couldn't remember how long I was married there for a minute. That's embarrassing. So this book, I'm just going to try to summarize it for you very briefly. Angela Carter, you have to know, is lots of magical realism, lots of kind of dark characters, or characters that are okay with being unsavory at times, or on the whole unsavory. And if you try to explain an Angela Carter novel plot point by plot point, it will make no sense at all. You'll be like, that makes no sense. What are you talking about? Because it is magical realism and it doesn't make sense. And once you dive and get yourself so drunk on this awesome prose, it's not going to matter. You're going to be like, oh yeah, this is real life. So this, from what I'm remembering, it's been a while, is that as her girl Melanie, and she ends up going to her aunt and uncle. I believe her parents die. Something happens to her parents, and they're working at this toy shop, and there's these life-size marionettes, and there's this weird, like, hyper-sexual, disturbing, like, play going on, and she ends up trying to escape, and it's dark and beautiful and like dreamy. It's just so good. So if you're gonna read any Angela Carter book, I would recommend starting out with this one. So I'm excited to get to revisit this. Next we have, okay, I'm gonna save that one for last. Next we have Kay Boyle, Plagued by the Nightingale, and this one is about a woman. It was written in 1931. Her name is Bridget. She's an American, and she marries a young Frenchman and goes to live with his family, and apparently they have some sort of degenerative bone disease, but it's like this bone disease that's, according to the back, says can also infect the soul. So I don't know if this is magical realism, if this is just like some really gross ableism, we'll see. And then another handsome, healthy young man arrives, and she's got to figure out what she wants to do. And on the back it says that it echoes Henry James. It's lyrical, delicate, and shocking. So we'll see. It's a slim book, so I'm definitely intrigued. And last but not least, we have Willa Cather's The Professor's House. And I have a confession to make. I don't like Willa Cather. She's an author that I feel like I should love. Like, I keep reading her books going like, I'm supposed to like Willa Cather. Is all the marks of like an author I would love. And I just don't like her. Some of the short stories are okay. I've read A Lost Lady. I've read, My Antonia. I've read Oh Pioneers. The descriptions of the land and the town, and they're beautiful. The prose is quite nice, but there's always, I don't need Facebook notices right now. Okay, sorry. But there's always like this douchey young guy who just, the women are always like vapid and stupid. There's a lot of othering of like, oh, she was dark haired and must have gypsy blood or something. It's problematic in some ways, and it just, I want to beat the dudes over the head. It's like mansplaining in novel form. Okay, end rant. But because I'm so determined I'm going to like this writer, I don't know why I don't like her. I'm going to read the one that my good friend Thomas Otto has recommended and is on the Virago list of the first 100. And this one, it looks like it's about a man in his 50s who's devoted to his wife, his garden, his daughters. He's successful. He works in a university, and now he's been called to move to a more comfortable house. And he basically says kind of no, and sticks his, looks like he puts his foot down, and it kind of makes everything wacky and things go amiss. So this sounds good. I do work in a university, so I can get behind an academic novel, because it's a weird beast, academia. So we're going to give this a go, and I'm determined I'm going to like Willa Cather. Maybe I should go back and reread all of those other books. I don't know. Tell me, do any of you not like Willa Cather? What am I missing? Let me know. Alright, so those are the 12 Virago Modern Classics I am planning to read in 2018. Let me know thoughts, comments. you want to join in, let me know. Pick your own stack. We'll talk. All right, thanks. Bye.